On November 22, 2022, Jasmine Pace, a 22-year-old college student from Chattanooga, Tennessee, disappeared after a phone call with her boyfriend, Chen. What initially seemed like a routine evening took a dark turn, leading to a chilling discovery and a complex investigation that would unravel a tale of betrayal, violence, and a quest for justice. Welcome. This is Crime Uncovered, where every case has a story, and the truth is often stranger and darker than fiction. If you yet to subscribe to my channel, kindly do so to stay updated on the latest crime we would uncover next. On November 22, 2022, just days before Thanksgiving, the world of 22-year-old Jasmine Pace's family was turned upside down. A young woman full of life and potential, Jasmine's tragic disappearance sparked fear and disbelief. The loss of her great-grandmother only days before had left her family in mourning, but nothing could have prepared them for what would happen next. Jasmine was deeply connected to her family, especially her mother, Katrina. Even though Jasmine's parents had split up when she was young, she had a close relationship with her mother and stepfather, who was building her a new home. Life seemed to be on an upward trajectory for Jasmine. She worked at her family's construction company and had recently begun a relationship with Chen, a man she met on Bumble dating app. But just as the family was dealing with their recent loss, another tragedy was about to strike. Jasmine had always been a thoughtful, loving person, known for her kindness and her dedication to those around her. She had an intense connection to her family, especially after the death of her great-grandmother. But in the days leading up to Thanksgiving, her sudden disappearance sent shockwaves through everyone who knew her. It began with an odd text message from Jasmine to her mother, Katrina, to tell her she would be staying at the house of a friend of hers for the rest of the week. Katrina Pace thought this was odd, given that it was the Tuesday before the Thanksgiving holiday. Jasmine claimed that she was spending Thanksgiving in South Carolina with her girlfriend Emma, a statement that raised immediate concerns for Katrina. Jasmine had never introduced anyone as her girlfriend, and the family had no idea who Emma was. Still, Katrina thought her daughter might just be upset after losing her grandmother and gave the text little thought. But the situation took a dark turn when Jasmine failed to show up at the family's Thanksgiving gathering the next day. By the following day, Jasmine was still unreachable. Katrina tried calling her repeatedly, but Jasmine didn't answer. In desperation, she called the number for Emma, only to find out that Emma didn't even exist in Jasmine's life. Emma, as it turned out, was not from South Carolina but from Kentucky. The mystery deepened as Jasmine's family became more frantic. Days went by without a word from Jasmine. Then, a strange post appeared on Jasmine's Facebook account, one that was out of character for her. A photo of Jasmine, old and outdated, had been posted along with a few short videos. The caption read, "Thanksgiving with my baby." They begin reaching out to Jasmine out of concern. To make matters worse, the posts were followed by comments from concerned friends who knew something wasn't right. Jasmine's family grew increasingly worried. Katrina used a location tracking app to find her daughter's car, and it led them to a dead end at 900 Mountain Creek Road. Jasmine's car was abandoned, but there was no sign of her anywhere. Her family knocked on doors, asking neighbors if they had seen Jasmine, but no one had. At 7:10 p.m. on November 25th, they called the police and reported Jasmine as missing. In the days that followed, Katrina discovered that Jasmine had been in contact with Chen on the night she went missing. They had spoken for over an hour on the evening of November 22nd. The next day, Jason sent Jasmine a message asking, "Are we still good for dinner tonight?" Katrina called Jason, but he provided little information, only giving her his home address. When Katrina arrived, however, the house was empty and still under construction. But the situation grew more suspicious. Jasmine's phone showed a location pin at 110 Tremont Street at 2:15 a.m. on November 23rd. The family rushed to that address, only to find it connected to Chen's apartment. They knocked on his door but received no response. This led Jasmine's father, Travis, to take matters into his own hands. He broke into the apartment through a back door and found cleaning supplies and items with Jason's name on them. But the most alarming discovery was Jasmine's credit cards, ID, and a travel bag. none of which should have been there. At this point, it became clear that Jason Chen was hiding something. The family called the police to show them what they had found, but the investigation had barely begun to uncover the horrific truth. On November 27, 2022, police obtained a search warrant for Jason's apartment. With the help of the CSI team, they used a special blood-detecting chemical called Blue Star. The results were horrifying. The apartment lit up like a crime scene, revealing blood stains throughout the bathroom and living room. The most chilling discovery was the presence of cleaning supplies that appeared to be freshly purchased from a nearby Walgreens. But the physical evidence only told part of the story. A neighbor below Jason's apartment had reported hearing a woman screaming at 2 a.m. on November 23rd, just minutes before Jasmine sent her mother a location pin. This scream was followed by the sound of rushing footsteps and a door slamming. It was clear that something violent had happened in Jason's apartment that night. Further surveillance footage showed Jason leaving his apartment on November 23rd with a black cloth wrapped around his right hand, his hand appearing injured. Later that day, video footage captured him purchasing peroxide and bandages at Walgreens. Jason's actions were increasingly suspicious. Later, he was seen at Walgreens again buying bleach, rubbing alcohol, and paper towels. Was he cleaning up the aftermath of something terrible? On November 29, 2022, the search for Jasmine led investigators to Suck Creek Road. Police discovered Jasmine's lifeless body wrapped in a suitcase and trash bag, discarded carelessly just off of Suck Creek Road in Hamilton County. Along the Tennessee River, the autopsy revealed a gruesome reality. Jasmine had been stabbed over 60 times while still alive. Her body showed signs of brutal struggle, lacerations across her face, defensive wounds on her arms, and deep cuts to her lungs. It was a horrifying scene. It became clear that Jasmine had fought for her life until the very end, but her efforts were in vain. She had been killed by someone she trusted, someone she had allowed into her life. As investigators delved deeper into Jason's background, more disturbing details began to surface. Those who knew him spoke of his strange, unsettling behavior. Friends recalled how he used to pretend to be other people online, slandering others on social media. His personality was described as off-putting, and he seemed to lack the ability to read social cues. The investigation uncovered text messages and notes that Jason had written about Jasmine, including fake messages he sent from her phone after her disappearance. In one note, Jason wrote about how to respond if law enforcement contacted his family. It was clear that Jason had been desperately trying to cover up his actions. On December 1st, 2022, police were able to trace Jason's movements through his phone records, revealing that he had inserted Jasmine's SIM card into his own phone in an attempt to fabricate texts and social media posts. His efforts to mislead investigators only deepened the case against him. In January 2025, Jason Chen stood trial for the murder of Jasmine Pace. During the trial, his defense team tried to claim that Jasmine had attacked him with a wine bottle after seeing Tinder messages on his phone. However, forensic evidence proved this theory false. Jasmine had no drugs in her system, and there was no Tinder activity on the night of her death. Jason's lack of remorse was evident throughout the trial. He seemed uninterested in the gravity of his crime, only showing emotion when his mother spoke in his defense. His mother, speaking only in Chinese, begged for forgiveness, but did not acknowledge Jasmine's family or the loss they had suffered. After just 40 minutes of deliberation, the jury found Jason Chen guilty of first-degree premeditated murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole on January 21, 2025. Jasmine Pace's tragic story is a reminder of how quickly a life can be torn apart. A young woman with a promising future was brutally murdered by someone she trusted. While Jason Chen will spend the rest of his life behind bars, Jasmine's family will never be the same. Her death has left a hole in their hearts, but they continue to honor her memory, vowing to keep her story alive. Even though Jasmine's killer is behind bars, her family's grief will never fully heal. The justice they received will never bring her back, but it gives them some peace knowing that the truth was finally uncovered. This case serves as a haunting reminder. Some killers never have a clear motive, but their actions are driven by a twisted need for control and power. The truth doesn't always make sense, but it's vital to seek it and uncover it, no matter how disturbing or painful the journey may be. If you found this story as chilling and tragic as we did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. What are your thoughts on this case? Do you think there are more secrets yet to be uncovered? Drop your comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. Stay safe, stay aware, and remember, the truth is often stranger and darker than fiction.